Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, December 7, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let's just take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have that ridge of high pressure across the northeastern portions of North Atlantic that's still sending all of those easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see by those broken lines right here across the eastern Caribbean that we have a trough or two affecting the islands, and we can see by this blue line right here that we have that cold front. And if you remember yesterday's video, that cold front was actually situated across portions of the southern Bahamas, Cuba, and the northwestern Caribbean. So we can see that it has advanced south and eastward to now to the south of Jamaica, as well as across portions of Hispaniola. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that trough, bringing some amount of overcast skies, showers, and thunderstorms to sections of the Windward Islands, especially, as well as the southern Leeward Islands. Definitely getting in on some very heavy, wet weather across the eastern Caribbean. Definitely bring some amount of flash flooding to some spots, even as we speak, and into tomorrow, and even throughout the weekend. We can also see the clouds associated with that cold front, stretching all the way down into portions of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and passing to the south of Jamaica. And it's this that has been bringing some amount of rainfall to sections of northern Jamaica today, and it's definitely going to be doing the same thing on Friday, even spilling into sections of eastern Jamaica especially. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. It was stated on our Twitter page. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made on our Twitter page, but our Facebook and Instagram, as well as our TikTok page. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as there are some other posts that are made on those platforms that are not made here on our YouTube channel. So we can see that we predicted northern Jamaica to be receiving majority of the wet, cool, and windy weather for Thursday. I know northern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes such as Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And what ended up happening? A post was made at 7:06 a.m. highlighting the visible satellite imagery showing clouds bringing overcast skies, if not isolated showers, to sections of northern Jamaica. So we saw Portland getting in on some of that, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney at that time, 7:06 a.m. Skipping ahead to about 9:56 a.m., the visible satellite images were posted. Something similar, same parishes, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, and even although no posts were made during the afternoon hours, we still saw on the visible satellite images that we still had those clouds coming into section of northern Jamaica, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, and we even saw that even sections of southwestern Jamaica got in on some amount of overcast skies, if not isolated showers. So maybe section of St. Elizabeth might have gotten in on some of that. Taking a look at the latest infrared satellite images, we don't have much taking place right now. Maybe one or two isolated clouds across Portland as we speak, but that's definitely going to be changing throughout the night, getting even more intense. Calm now, it's going to be getting more intense. We can see by the Doppler radar images, not much taking place right now. Cuban Doppler radar site not showing much in the way of rainfall at all. We do see those greens that represent light to moderate rainfall dissipating off the southwestern coast of Jamaica. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and by about 3 a.m. on Friday morning, temperature should dip down to about 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. By the way, this map should have been posted earlier. Apologize for that. So this map from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website shows the rainfall that we got across Jamaica for the past 24 hours. So this does indeed paint a picture. Northern Jamaica for the most part, even although some of it is leaking into sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. We didn't see that across Kingston and St. Andrew at all. I work in Kingston and we didn't see rainfall at all. What we saw was a quite sunny, hot day. So just like what we predicted in yesterday's video, all of the winds and the cool weather was confined to northern Jamaica, and all of the terrain was, lessening the chances of southern Jamaica getting in on that cool, windy weather. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that the 18Z run of the GFS, well, this is valid for 1 p.m. on Friday. We do see Jamaica embedded in some gray colors. When we take a look at the key on the right, the grays represent average temperatures. I know the average temperatures for the month of December are around the same as 87 degrees Fahrenheit. 87 degrees Fahrenheit, when we take a look at the thermometer, is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So that's what's expected for the most part across Jamaica on a Friday. Taking a look at the dry air map, you can still see a lot of dry air stretching all the way from Africa into the Caribbean. We know the dry air is represented very well by the key at the bottom, the yellows, oranges, reds, and whites within those reds. Jamaica still embedded in a lot of dry air, but we're getting in on some amount of rainfall, all courtesy of the cold front clouds. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see surrounding the island we still have those darker shades of blues, and when we take a look at the key on the bottom right, that's representative of anywhere from 1 to close to 2 meter wave height, and that's because the winds are going to be coming in from the east across the island, for the most part averaging anywhere from 10 to 20 knots, as we can see by the blues as well as the greens. And we can also see those lighter shades of blues across inland areas of some central and western parishes. So if there's a chance of some amount of isolated afternoon rainfall, it's definitely going to be across sections of some central and western parishes, and with the upper level winds coming in from the west southwest across Jamaica for tomorrow. If these clouds are supposedly making it up into cumulonimbus status, maybe becoming some high cold cloud tops, thunderstorm clouds, they're gonna be blown off towards the east northeast. Maybe bring more in the way of rainfall and overcast skies to sections of northern Jamaica, if anything else. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast map, this is the meat of the matter. This is what we're here for. So we can see the blues that represent rainfall. What time is this? This is valid for midnight tonight. 12 a.m. shows blues that represent rainfall across sections of northern and eastern Jamaica. Definitely eastern St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne. That's the Euro model. The GFS model is showing something similar, especially across Portland where we have those darker shades of blues. That's where the consensus is. That's where the agreement is. So midnight tonight, more rain for Portland. And we have our parishes here again, just for your information. Definitely Portland, Eastern St. Thomas is what is being shown here. Taking a look at about 4 a.m., the Euro and the GFS models are still showing something similar, getting even more intense on the GFS, showing those darker shades of blues, maybe getting into some heavy rain territory, maybe some isolated flash flooding, or some slight land slippages taking place across Portland. And then, skipping ahead to about 9 a.m., we still see the blues that represent rainfall across northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. So definitely sections of St. Thomas, Portland, sections of St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney. That's where the rainfall is forecasted for. And then, finally, taking a look at the final map right here. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Alright, so the afternoon hours. By the way, let's look at this map for a second. This map is actually looking at Jamaica if we're looking to the east. So the sunrise is in the east. Let's say this is the sun right here. We're looking to the east. So let us say we are on the border of St. Mary, and St. Catherine right there, and we're looking to the east. So definitely that would be the Blue Mountains right here. On the left side we would have Portland. On the right side we would have Kingston and St. Thomas. So this all makes sense. We have that moist northeasterly breeze coming in across sections of Portland. And this is exactly what took place today. This is exactly why they got in on so much rain today. And there's a chance that we could still get in on some more of that tomorrow. So what I'm trying to highlight here in this map is that we have all of that warm moist air ascending, causing more, and we have, some upward motion with all of these clouds. Then we have the clouds, bring some amount of rainfall to sections of that side of the island. And then we have the warm, dry side. This is why we didn't get much in the way of rainfall across southern Jamaica. Remember the maps that we showed you on our Twitter page earlier? This is why majority of the rainfall was confined to northern Jamaica. This is called the dry side. So this is where it says cool and dry air descends, warms up due to the forces of gravity, and adi- adiabatic warming. So this is why the northern portions of the island are so wet during the winter rather than the south coast. I love that orographic lift, bringing more in the way of some clouds getting heavy, bringing more in the way of rainfall to sections of northern Jamaica. Then the rain shadow taking shape across sections of southern Jamaica, which is why southern Jamaica is usually drier during the dry period. If there's some amount of fire trucks running around trying to fix or quell those bushfires, it's definitely going to be confined to southern Jamaica more than anything else during the winter season that we're about to step into. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast for about, we're looking at 3 p.m. What we're seeing here is blues across sections of eastern, central, and western Jamaica, especially northern Jamaica if we actually take a closer look. So definitely sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, definitely northern areas of some southern parishes. So definitely Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth, northern Manchester, northern Clarendon, sections of St. Catherine and Kingston and St. Andrew. Definitely eastern Jamaica still getting in on some amount of rainfall. So it's definitely gonna be quite a wet day across the island for tomorrow, especially across the north and the eastern portion of the island. So this does indeed paint a picture of what's expected, especially considering what we just saw on the wind shear map, the upper level winds, pushing more of those clouds and that energy towards the north coast. So all of this makes sense. So if you're gonna be going out tomorrow, especially if you live on the north coast and the eastern side of the island, ensure that you walk with your rain gear. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast by both the Euro and the GFS models, something similar to what we experienced yesterday. Northern Jamaica and Eastern Jamaica getting majority of the rainfall. Look at all of those colors, yellows, oranges, even some reds on the GFS. Clearly the GFS is a bit more robust than the Euro. Euro only showing up to about zero point 0.5 for an inch of rainfall across northeastern Jamaica. GFS showing up to 0.81 of an inch, so almost an inch of rainfall. Maybe some isolated flash flooding could take place with all of these, on and off showers that are expected across the Jamaica area on Friday. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be receiving rainfall. Taking a look at another bar graph right here of the Jamaica average rainfall from the period 1996 to 2015, we can see that the bar graph actually, decreases when we step into the month of December, only getting up to 122.45 millimeters of rainfall during the month of December. And the thing is, when it comes to this rainfall during these dry period months from December through to April, it's usually some specific areas that are getting majority of the rainfall, especially with all of these cold fronts causing that northeasterly flow of trade winds across the island. So definitely northern Jamaica, just like what we just saw just now. Either way, we'll take all the rainfall that we can get as we travel through this dry season. We can clearly see that February is the driest month of the year. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we head into that time period. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated earlier, a lot of clouds bringing showers and thunderstorms in sections of the northeastern Caribbean. You can also see sections of southern and eastern Venezuela getting in on some of that right now. Section of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, section of Colombia, Panama, Honduras, Nicaragua, section of Guatemala, Belize, getting in on some of that. Eastern Cuba and Hispaniola getting in on that rainfall or courtesy of that cold front as we speak. Taking a look at the northeastern Caribbean's Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall right there across sections of northern Puerto Rico, but for the most part, majority of that rainfall is out to sea. A nice thunderstorm still right here off the southwest coast of Puerto Rico. Taking a look at the eastern portion of the basin. So as stated, majority of the leeward islands are in the clear, anywhere from the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts, Antigua and Barbuda. But as we head southward, so anywhere to the south of the Guadeloupe, look at Dominica, Martinique, and it's a lot of rainfall that we see a lot of dark greens, yellows, oranges, reds, and we can even see it on the see it better on the Barbados radar. Look at all of this rainfall. Definitely some flood triggering rainfall taking place, pushing from east to west, all courtesy of that trough. And Barbados is definitely getting in on some of that as we speak. So too, sections of St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Martinique, sections of the Grenadine Islands, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago getting in on some heavy rainfall as we speak. And there's definitely more where that came from. Taking a look at the wider view of the radar images, we can see some rainfall starting to plague sections of the ABC Islands, but I'm sure it's much welcomed rainfall. Majority of the heaviest of this rainfall pushing to the north, just to the slight north of the ABC Islands as we speak, but I'm pretty sure that they're grateful for whatever isolated rainfall that they're getting right now into tonight and tomorrow. We can also see that rainfall that we just saw on the satellite images across sections of coastal areas of Honduras, Belize, as well as sections of the northern portion of Guatemala. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for the Caribbean on Friday, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Friday, and we can see that majority of the Caribbean should be getting in on those yellows, some slight oranges that represent anywhere from 1 to 2 degrees Celsius or even 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. While right there off the southeast coast of the United States, getting in on those below normal temperatures as represented by those blues, so anywhere from Cuba northward. Bahamas, sections of Florida, maybe southern Georgia, right there. Taking a look at the wave forecast, we can still see that majority of this southern central Caribbean getting in on those purples and some slight reds that represent anywhere from 2 meter wave heights or more, while the rest of the Caribbean that's shaded in blues, that's where we see anywhere from 1 to 1.5 or even close to 2 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be strongest where we have those purples. So those yellows that we see here to the south of Hispaniola and Jamaica are representative of 25 to 30 knot winds. And we can see all of this coming in from the east. We know the greens represent anywhere from 10 to 20 knots. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this. As it relates to the rainfall forecast now, we do see that Florida, majority of Cuba, and the Bahamas are in the clear for the next 24 hours. Keep in mind that both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. Not saying that it's going to be raining all the way up until then, but within this time period from now up until then, there's going to be rain if it's not already raining. So definitely a section of Jamaica, just like what we just mentioned earlier. Maybe some isolated pockets across sections of the Cayman Islands, but look at that rainfall definitely expected. More rainfall expected across sections of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, northern Panama, sections of Colombia, Venezuela, sections of Suriname, French Guyana, Guyana, and heading northward now. So Trinidad and Tobago definitely, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe. Definitely gonna be getting in on some more rainfall. Maybe some of these rain bands could spill into sections of Antigua and Barbuda as well. And we also see that rainfall that the cold front is going to be bringing to sections of Puerto Rico and especially northern Hispaniola, so definitely northern Haiti and Dominican Republic, even sections of eastern Cuba will be getting in on some more isolated rainfall, all courtesy of that cold front. We know that when both models, the U and the GFS, are showing something similar like this, the chances of actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.